the link.
All right, we are live. Gotta let this one, gotta let it marinate. And the New York Mets have just signed Juan Soto, future Hall of Famer, 26-year-old, not even in his prime yet, World Series champion, absolute superstar, to a 15-year, $765 million contract that I don't know about everyone else, but I will say this. This podcast told you was coming when Steve Cohen bought the Mets, and we said, what did we say, Kevin? What is he? What is my guy, Steve Cohen?
Inevitable, dude. Yo, and you know what? I want to give you all the credit in the world, Clem, because over the last few years, when there's been this free agent and that free agent, you were always like, there's only one, and he's coming. Years ago, he's coming, and I want Soto, and he's coming here, and he fucking did. And now looking back on it, like it was inevitable. Steve Cohen would have gone all night long. 765, 775, 785. He's pulling pieces of art off the wall that are worth another 3 years of a contract. Here, you want Stickman? Take him home with you, Juan. That's worth $150 million. Like, I'm sure he doesn't want to overpay, but I bet you he could have gone to $1.5 billion. He would have gone over Hal Steinbrenner's entire net worth. And we can talk all about the nitty-gritty of this, but I just want to say this. This is for every Met fan who wanted and deserved and thought we would get Vladimir Guerrero, and we watched him fucking go. This is for every Mets fan when we should have had A-Rod, and he wanted it. He wanted to come there. Back when the Mets were not even a fucking destination, he wanted to play there, and we wouldn't give him a plane or a suite or whatever fucking Wilpons reason he walked. It's for Vladimir Guerrero's. It's for the A-Rods. It's for every time that the Wilpons were kicking the tires on a big free agent that they never intended on signing. Smoke and mirrors. Oh, well, we were in on that guy. The mystery team getting played to up the offer for someone else. For all of those, all the Mets fans who suffered through all of that, this is how it should have been for all those years as a big market team in New York. There's a need and a player and a fucking owner to make it happen. And this right here, who knows? You got to go win the World Series. You got to reach the pinnacle, right? But this right here, watershed moment in New York baseball history, the day that the player of a generation was already in pinstripes, and we took him out and we brought him to Queens. That already right there is a legendary. So
And
Steve Cohen has already
in New York.
the landscape of this fucking city forever before we even go win a World Series with Juan Soto. And the only downside to this is I like Hubs and Tommy, who they have to kill themselves now. I mean, they have to, like, Hubs tweeted the picture of AJ Soprano with the cinder block jumping in the pool. You guys have to kill yourselves, because for all the sewer rat talk and all the little brother talk, whoops, we just got the new Ted Williams, you know? Sorry, guys. He wants to come to us. He chose us. And I love the little broke boy offer of like, well, we'll give you $750, but we're going to add a 16th year. It's like, get the fuck out of here, you broke bitches. Go away. I'm playing with the adults now. We're in the deep end. I'm going to Steve Cohen in Queens. Inevitable. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny comes all the same. It's
the
Steve
first
Cohen.
thing I thought of when I saw the numbers get released is that old story when Steve became the owner of the Mets, where he was bidding on a house and some other guy that was bidding on the house came to him and said, my wife really wants this house. And he just said, all right, full fuck you. Here's extra $5 million because I know you can't match it. Like, it's shit like that. The little chip on his shoulder of watching the Yankees in the World Series, watching Juan Soto in New York put on a show for an entire year, being their best player, watching Aaron Judge thrive because he's got some protection, and him going, I don't even know if it's going to work out, but like, all I know is it's going to suck to be a Yankee fan to lose this guy to us. And this is the New York Mets, and the New York Mets are going to own New York for the next 15 years minimum, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Clem, how you feeling, big man?
I am just so happy it's over. I have done a great job slowly paring myself away from that devil app, over the last like 2 years. I mean, honestly, probably since the pandemic, where I probably peaked and was like, I got to get off this shit. And it's like a crack addict when they realize that you have to stop, get off the crack. And I had gotten away from the Bird app. It's not even the Bird app anymore. And I was so happy. And then I'm just right back in the cycle of things. Like, let me just take a look. And it was like, I was going through my mind. Were you guys thinking this? Like, what's the Passan tweet going to look like if it says New York Mets? What if it says
breaking.
New York Yankees,
is it going to
Boston Red Sox? And I'm just like feeling sick. I'm feeling great. I was my screen time. I haven't even looked like, you don't get those reports Sunday. Nope, just straight close. I do not want to see that. I am just so happy it's over. The fact it's with us makes it fucking awesome. Kev, wait, you guys hear that?
What's that?
I think that's old man Steinbrenner doing somersaults in his grave right now. He cannot be happy. Wherever he's watching, up, down, left, right, wherever it may be, he cannot be happy at Hal right now.
Dude, I don't know how the finances work when you're a broke boy and you only are worth $1 billion. Like Steve Cohen could have gone to, multi-billions of dollars if he wanted to, right? Like for the sake of the reputation of the Yankees franchise, 100 billion years old, 120 years, whatever it is at this point, you got to just do whatever it takes. Put yourself over the tax, put yourself in bankruptcy, take out loans like the Wilpons did. You cannot let the Mets steal this guy. Go to 800, go to 900. Again, I don't think it would matter because he was just going to keep going, but you can't just like how does that end for Cashman? Like they make one last call and he's just like, now we're good. And you hang up the phone on Juan Soto. Like, how, as a fan base, do they go on? How can you ever talk again about, like, the big, bad Yankees, at least in comparison to the lowly little Mets? Because it's like, we both stepped to the table, and our guy just fucking threw his dick on your forehead. Just dropped it on the table until you said, gave up, until you cried uncle, until you tapped out. I just don't get how, like, it's almost worse that they ever had him. Because if it was just like he went to free agency from San Diego and, he went to the Mets, like, so be it. I don't know. But it's like he was there. This is the death of the Yankees. You don't get it. Like, he was there. He went to the World Series with them. He got a taste of the mystique. He was in the Bronx and the pinstripes. And I'm sure they had Jeter and all these fucking Yankees come out and suck his dick and talk to him about the fans and the team and the blah, blah, blah. And Juan Soto was like, I don't give a fuck. Give me money. I'll go with this rich guy. They're building the casino. They've got a good young team. They're on the come up. Like, that's it. It's over for the Yankees. They're done, dude.
That's the craziest thing is, like, he's not going to lose a wink of sleep over this amount of money. He bought the team and went down $2 billion, and then the next year he made $4 billion. Like, this guy prints money on the scale that nobody else in the league can even comprehend, aside from, I guess, the Dodgers, who just get to offload their money left and right. But, like, think about the Correa deal falling through. We're throwing all this money at Yoshi Yamamoto and all these other guys where they're not coming here. That led to this much better situation for the Mets.
Much better.
The perfect situation. Even when Ohtani was coming due, I was like, I would prefer the guy who's only 2 years older than fucking Mark Vientos, who were like, this guy could be an all-star. He's 2 years older. He's been in the league since he was 19 years old.
MVP and a World Series MVP.
He's been in the league for a decade.
Remember when we were talking about trading for him before we went to the Padres? And we're like, well, we can't trade this guy. We can't trade that guy. And then Phil would be like, yo, Juan Soto is like a year or is like 6 months older than the guys.
Any of the guys
they're in Double-A right now.
Right.
We don't know if they're even going to become major leaguers. And Juan Soto has a ring, fucking playoff, fucking trophies, an absolute and like a resume of work that says this guy is Hall of Famer. I don't know which one of you guys said it, but this has stuck with me ever since that day. Statue player. That's a player you build a statue for outside your stadium. We just got him, and I don't know if you guys saw the numbers here. No deferred money. Opt-out clause after the 5th season.
That's actually better than I thought. I thought it was gonna be 3.
I thought it would be 3 and then 6. Like the
5 is actually kind of ideal, to be honest.
Perfect,
Hopefully
really.
you win a ring at that point. He's 30 plus. Maybe even if he leaves at that point, it's like I don't know. You kind of got the best of him. 5 is great.
And then I heard this would be like I follow so many fucking accounts. I don't know what's real, what's not. There's this guy who's like MLB exec burner or something like that. I think it's a guy who has worked or works in baseball, and he kind of like gives his takes on everything. He said that like Steve Cohen could kind of just drop the dick down in many different ways, but one was the signing bonus because I think it would escape New York taxes and it's up front. $75 million signing bonus.
That's in addition to, or that's part of the 765?
I would imagine that's part of the 760. I don't care. I don't think Steve even cares. He's like, whatever you want, Juan.
Like, I think that Steve Cohen was operating within the parameters of 700 to 800 million because that's what Ohtani did and that's what these other teams are doing. But if Ohtani signed for $1 billion and like that was the parameters, or Boris just said we're not going anywhere for less than 900, like I think he would have just been like, okay, like I'm not going to give you money for free, but if we're going to talk 700, I'll go 750. You go 750, I'll go 760. You go 762, I'll go 760. I can just do this all night long to the point that, you know, if it was a $2 billion deal, I think he would have done it. Because there's just, again, and by the way, we're going to see all the headlines. Overrated, overpaid, doesn't play defense, they're buying a championship, all blah, 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 blah. The point is, like, he is that dude. He is more than just the play, just the on-base percentage, just the age. It's what it represents. It's like everything I just described. And that is priceless. If I said to Steve Cohen, bro, if you give me $1 billion, I can just snap my fingers and make the whole city feel like you're the king and the Mets are the top dog and the Yankees are little brother, he would do it. Whether it's for Juan Soto or a fucking magical whatever. Like, it's just, if that's the outcome, I think he would pay whatever for that. That is such a huge, for us, the fans who like never had any ammo for all these years. And now you can just be like, Juan Soto literally said, thanks, but no thanks. This is the first time I think we've seen that like the rest of the world doesn't give a fuck about the 90s. You know what I mean? Juan Soto was born in the middle of their dynasty. He doesn't give a shit about the 5 rings. He doesn't care. That's ancient history. Everything, when I was arguing today about the Mets versus the Yankees, everything that was talked about the Yankees was in the past. It was all about their history. And then even the things that were bad about them. Cashman's ancient. Boone has been there forever. They don't make any changes. And everyone's trying to spin that as like, oh, that's a stable franchise. No, that's a stagnant franchise. They've had the same regime doing the same shit, trotting it out there over and over again, hoping that this year they finally get over the top when they never do. Whereas Steve Cohen and the Mets, yeah, the Mets are not this crown jewel of sports franchises, but what they are is a new team with a new owner on the come up, changing the real estate, changing the entire landscape of their franchise. And that's all going to coincide, get it, with Juan Soto's exact career. You know what I mean? Like, those two are now tied together for the next 15 years. Steve Cohen's 68. He doesn't want to be 90 years old when he wins this title. He wants it to happen, like, now. And so Juan Soto for the next 10 or 15 years is the exact same time for the next 10 or 15 years that Cohen is going to dump every penny he has and every resource he has into this team. So, yeah, maybe the Mets' history is not there while the Yankees is. But if you were just betting on a franchise and if you just took away the names and you just said franchise A and franchise B, it's not even fucking close to who you would want. New ownership always, whether it's the Dodgers buying the Dodgers buying in 2012, the Red Sox in 2002, like even the Marlins, when they got their new ownership, they won right away. When there's new owners in, they're there for a fucking reason and they get the job done. And that's all going to coincide with him. It's like, again, looking back, I'm like, it was like LeBron going to Lakers. It was like, oh, this is never in doubt. Never in doubt.
As a wise, the word wise can be eye of the beholder, but as a man once said in Gotham, it's not about the money. It's about sending a message.
Yeah.
And we have the agent of chaos. He owns our team right now. And I'm telling you, it feels pretty fucking good. It felt good in 22. It felt good this year. But this was the kind of shit now. The big dog is in. The fucking farm system is fucking restocked. And we're not done. Like, this is
No, now, as a matter of fact, now, like, you go. Now I think we, like, ramp it up. Like, if Soto went to the Yankees, like, that's it for them. They've got all their money tied up in Cole and Soto and Judge and even Stanton. Like, that's all you guys get. Whereas this is like, well, now you can't waste the end of Lindor's career and the prime of Soto's career, and you got to make all this count. So, again, it's kind of like a microcosm for the contract. If you're going to go to 700, you might as well go 750, 760, 765. And if you're going to pay 765 for a player and 300 for your shortstop, you might as well go, if you're going to be this much above the luxury tax, go this much above it to get the job done. Because what's the fucking point unless you get the chip? So I think, if anything, the negotiations were probably like, we're also going to we're going to re-sign Pete. We're going to go get you some pitching. Here's our plan. And that was enough for Soto to be like, let's fucking go. Because there's no reason there was no way he'd go get that and not have a plan to build around him.
Well, and I just reading this from, Martino. To say, you know what? Everyone's friends right now. We're not going to shit on Martino. John Heyman's a long personal friend of mine.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
It said one thing that Juan Soto articulated to David Stearns and Steve Cohen throughout this process was that he did believe in Cohen. Steve Cohen, the salesman, and not just Steve Cohen, the checkbook, helped seal the deal. And it's like, yo, I got this team here. You saw what we were in October. You saw what this fan base is like. You see, I fucking care. I'm going to pay you this money. I'm obviously going to pay more. And then across the street, we have this entire fucking empire rising out of Willets Point, right? We're going to have all that. Like, this is, and in 10, 15, whenever the fuck Juan Soto leaves the Mets, you're going to have rings, you're going to have money, you're going to have fame, you're going to become a legend. And I said this, I don't know if I even said it, I think I was just thinking it. I didn't realize he was a Red Sox fan growing up. And I think that was the big push with the Red Sox was the DR and Poppy and all that stuff. Those guys are legends in Boston forever. Juan Soto could win like 7 World Series in a row. He'll never be what those guys were because of 04. He'll never be what Jeter was in 96, what Mantle was to the older Yankees fans. He wins here.
He's that guy.
He's that guy. Him, Lindor, and whoever else steps the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like all of that shit was in the past. It's like, okay, yeah, Big Papi is not on the team anymore. Pedro Martinez is not on the team anymore. If those guys were there and it was like, yo, we're going to have this like DR click, fine. But for them to just be like, hey, we were there and it was awesome. It's like, cool. Everyone's going to remember you breaking the curse and love you guys. Everyone's still sucking the Yankees' dick from 25 years ago. I will be those guys for this franchise here because I'm going to do it here. And then that'll be our version of breaking our curse and our Big Papi and our Derek Jeter. So, like,
my son was just born into a world in which the Mets broke the record for a contract in professional sports.
Yeah, I mean, bro, what a difference, a few years can make, man. Like,
it's fucking crazy,
right?
It comes down to the fact that it's like, it's $50 million. So it's like the contract on paper is like, whoa, 756 is huge. 765, whatever it was.
15 years.
But it's spread out. So it's like, okay, 50 million is like Scherzer Verlander money. So now you're going to go out and you're going to convince somebody else to go, we're putting together an all-star team. If you want to be a part of it, we'll offload your money. We'll just defer yours because Juan didn't want to do it.
Dude, and also,
like, you're telling me they go back to Pete and they're like, hey, Pete, not for nothing. Like, we'll get you on the Piazza contract or the Bobby Bonilla money. Like, how would you like to be a DH on a team that makes you into the World Series every year? Dude,
and like, only because baseball just hasn't gotten there yet, but the going rate for like a superstar in sports now is $50 million. If you're a big time quarterback, $50 million. You're in the NBA, there are like middle of the road guys making $50 million a year. So Juan Soto, again, like, is he putting up numbers like Judge? No. What is he probably like statistically worth that? No. But what he encompasses and what he brings to the table is worth like 75. Like, I would have got, you know what I mean? Like, to me, this is from a business point of view. I think if Steve Cohen thinks of it as like an investment, no fucking brainer. Just for this reaction alone, for the frenzy that's going to go on and the flip of power is like 75, 85, what the fuck ever you want. I'm going to make this back in a heartbeat. I bet Juan Soto owns a part of that fucking casino he's putting up at this point. Like, there's just so much ways to make money and be a part of this whole machine now. It's like, it was just an old dog trying to like squeeze one more out versus like we have our entire future ahead of us type shit.
You guys want to do a little perusing through a little journey through the internet? I got a couple things saved up here.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I swear to God, if anyone ever calls it X, it's called Twitter. We got some tweets here that I found on Twitter that I think should make its way onto the show. Number one, our beautiful baby right here, Juan Soto with Donovan Mitchell. Hey, Donovan Mitchell, we still love you. Yeah, Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart just going hardcore on the Yankees. I love those motherfuckers with all my heart, but I'll tell you. Like,
there's still time to come over, boys. Yeah. There's still time to come over.
Josh Hart just wrote damn, period. That's all he could write after that one. So there's our beautiful baby. Apparently this was him celebrating after he announced the deal or whatever. This is, I guess.
No way. That's live, like right now? Dude, how like silly is that though? It's like you knew you were gonna get like this. Like it's not like a surprise, you know?
Yeah.
Bro,
Like,
Juan Soto is a New York Met. Juan Soto is a New York Met.
You guys want to see Tommy's video?
Yes.
I don't know what he said, but
I want these sewer rats. Me and my fellow sewer rats are gonna watch Tommy Smokes now. Let's see. Oh, he looks despicable. He looks disgusting right now.
And you know it's a big story when Tommy's getting on the main account. So This is our first reaction to it. This is Tommy's reaction.
All right, well, Juan Soto to the Mets. That's not bad enough. I had that news break to me while at dinner with Meek, Phil, and Clemmer in New Orleans, so that's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm kind of not shocked. I mean, that's a ton of money. I'm heartbroken, but
good.
We'll see what the details are. I feel like the reports are, and I believe from other stuff that the Yankees were up there in money, like well over 700 million, 730, 750, 760 million. If Juan Soto went to the Mets just for, 10, 20 extra $1 million, fuck Juan Soto. Money hungry, greedy piece of shit. Hope he has a terrible career. I will be rooting for injuries. Fuck Scott Boras. Fuck Steve Cohen. Shouldn't even be allowed to own a team, quite frankly. Largest SEC fine in history. It's kind of incredible. What's up, brother? Kind of incredible he's even allowed to own a team. I know people are going to hate on Hal Steinbrenner. We'll see what the offer was. Listen, if the Yankees' offer was close, I'm not going to really blame Hal. Like, if you're right there, then, you blame Juan Soto for being a money-hungry piece of shit.
How the mighty have fallen.
Sure, they could have gone a little bit more, and maybe there's part. It's like, Hal, just sell to a Russian billionaire or something. But I'm not. Again, we'll wait for the details. As of now, from what I feel like is true, the Yankees were right there in money, and if that's the case, and he just chose the Mets for a fucking extra $10 million, and he's a piece of shit. I hate him. It's too much money for a guy's going to be DHing in 6 years anyway.
In 6 years, by the way.
We got to go get a bunch of other players now. I hope Juan Soto has a terrible career.
In 6 years, he'll be 32.
You know what's even better? Like, I really do believe that the Yankees were right there in money, which leads me to believe he made a decision not based on money. Like, I think actually wanting to go to the Mets is part of it. I think having the biggest contract, of course, is a big deal. But if it was going to be like 750 and the Yankees were at 680, 700, like that's a world where Juan Soto might be saying to himself, like, I don't want to go to the Mets, but like I gotta go for 50 extra million. This is like, you're right there, brother. You're talking about a couple extra $1 million a year. So go where you want to go. And he was like, I'm going cross town. It makes it all the more sweeter because it was like, yeah, no, you could have and got the same money. You just didn't want to go with that team, probably for reasons outside of money, which I don't know what's better. The Yankees not having enough money to spend or that it's something other than money. Either way, how the mighty have fallen. Again, it's for the Vlads and the A-Rods, and it's also for the Mets fans and the Yankee haters who lived through the early 2000s where every single year, like the people are complaining about the Dodgers, this has been happened before when it was Giambi and it was A-Rod and it was Sheffield and it was Mets and it just
Robinson Cano batted ninth in that lineup because it was Johnny Damon, Derek Jeter, A-Rod, Giambi, Gary Sheffield. Like the fact that those teams didn't win was insane in and of itself.
Criminal.
But like the fact that we could now be that team in New York,
we deserve it. It's like it's like Steve Cohen is righting all the wrongs of the past and giving us everything we ever wanted, piece by piece, step by step, year by year. And it's like I truly never thought it was going to happen. I was like, I think that the Wilpons will own this team until I'm dead, and like and God willing, we got out of it, and we went from the worst to the absolute best. And it really makes you wonder if the Yankees were like trying to be in an auction, like I'll go, and Steve Cohen was literally like, Hal, like you're not gonna beat me, dude. Like just stop. Like because again, I wonder how you draw the line at 760 over 16 or whatever. If it was like they're trying, and Steve was like, just give it a rest, little brother. Like you're not gonna beat me. And Boris it's not like those guys are ever going to be like, if you get close, we'll give it to you. It was like, we're going to keep calling every single time. It actually makes me wonder if I feel like it was always suspicious to me that the Blue Jays and the Red Sox were also in the mix. It made me feel like it was always the Yankees and Mets 2-horse race, and they also just included the rest of the AL East to kind of, you know, to bid the price up. But like now in hindsight, it just all feels like it was all inevitable and all kind of hoopla for no reason.
Yeah, I feel like at some point it seems like, Scott, are we going to do this or not? Like, I go to 800 if you're going to, but you have to prove to me that I have to go to 800. And like at some point, let's just do this because I want to do business with you again, with Pete Alonso. With
we got other shit to do. Yeah,
we have other shit to do here. So we obviously got Tommy's reaction. Now we have a video of the guys he was out to dinner with. We have live reactions from Meek, Phil, and Clemmer when it was announced. You guys ready for this one?
Oh,
I've only seen it in mute, but I can't wait to actually see it in video form. The streets of New Orleans.
Okay. Yeah, we're doing it. Ready? We got one Soto. 765. I have Fukamala. 765. 15 years. Unbelievable. Cohen. Steps up. Uncle Stevie. Steps up. The Mets got Juan Soto. We got 10 Williams.
The aliens, baby.
It's like a real life voodoo doll running through New Orleans right now.
We got 10 Williams. We got Juan Soto. Oh my God. Phil is taping this right now. We just found out the news. We hugged him and hugged Phil again.
Oh God.
What do you think?
The aliens are alive and well. Dude, you got to remember, Clemmer was there for the inaugural season of the Mets. Like, you know, he's seen it all. He has seen this team through the whole fucking existence, man. Again, man, like, just think, like, and now we get to watch him play. Like, I haven't even thought about him actually play. It sounds so stupid, but like this free agency was like its own season, and this was kind of like a World Series of like, and now it's like, where do we bat him, and what's he gonna do, and like, what's he, you know what I mean? Like, then you start to think about him actually being on the team.
And what I love about it too is like he's not the guy who's gonna like be the flashy, this is my team guy. Because everywhere he's gone, you're always just like, yeah, he kind of just shows up and just fucking crushes pitchers and then goes home. Like he's just cashing that paycheck and then just goes about his business, which it's Lindor's team and it will continue to be Lindor's team. And the fact that he's on board with that is huge also.
I mean, yes, but like I could also see Lindor is such a fucking like humble dude too. I think he'd be like, I don't know, you want to be like the captain, you want it to be your team, like fucking whatever. I think the beauty, like I don't think that they're gonna have
no ego. Yeah.
I think he's just like, I wanted money and I want to win and I play baseball and that is fucking it. I don't need anything else other than that.
The Mets are
I'm really taking it easy. I can't wait to really go rub it in. Like right now it's about celebrating with Mets fans, but I am going to take, after I'm done with that, I'm going to take a good, long, hard, like I'm going to really rub it in on Yankee fans.
Straight off the streets of Nolans, we got ourselves a Meek Phil who, this is a big moment for Phil. We talked about the youngest one on the pod here. This is, I mean, huge for all of us, but for our young, sweet Meek, how are we doing, Meek? Meek's in New Orleans.
All of the Mets' money has been contributed to Meek Phil's Wi-Fi.
I want to know what Mets 2128's doing right now. Mets 2128's probably like, guys, I think it's a little bit too much annual value money.
I like Met fans, like the happy ones. Just be happy. You're gonna have. I see there's a couple of people in the chat who say they're Mets fans. I don't even know. I have a buddy who reached out to me and was like, we better win multiple World Series. I was like, brother, I just need one. I don't give a fuck. I said this last year. I need one. If Juan Soto's a part of it, great. If not, fine. Just get me one.
Is my Wi-Fi better?
I got you now. You're good.
What do you got?
Me and Clemmer legit ran on the streets in New Orleans and started like celebrating, dancing. We got Juan Soto.
Wait, you got Juan Soto?
You got Juan Soto?
He was drooling on the fucking sidewalk.
I can't believe it.
Seeing Tommy that sad in real time.
Oh, that's
forget.
Great. Yeah, I wish I saw that in person. That's amazing.
Oh, so did you get to see him film the video? Because we played the video. We played your video on the pod. Did you get to see him record that? Or like,
he
what was
walked
the
out
moment?
the restaurant afterwards and then started recording it.
So who broke the news And
I broke it to him, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know Phil was just
now what was the vibe though? Like if I had to guess, I think those guys thought he was gonna stay there. I think I think Yankee fans started to get confident.
Earlier today, I was hearing reports about like the Yankees like upping their offer and stuff, but like I don't take. But you wait for the big guys to start talking before like you start realizing it.
Yeah.
And like 2 hours ago, I started hearing confidence from the Mets. I was like, I'm waiting until Heyman and then report it. And the exact thing happened. I was like, oh, okay, so that was actually fucking real. And I was stressing for no reason.
Yeah, but what I do think that like as it started to go longer and longer, I think people I know I started to think I was getting my hopes up, and then I was like,
Me too.
what's that?
The longer it went, the worse I felt.
Yeah, so I feel like that they probably felt the opposite. So I think Tommy and Hubs were, not like it's a done deal, but I bet they were leaning towards like I think we're gonna get him, which makes it again so much sweeter knowing that it crushed them. Oh.
We are going to celebrate tonight. I'm not gonna say what it is. It's a surprise. So I have to go, but we got
all right.
Juan
Go
Soto.
do your thing, me.
Hey, Phil. What are you doing tonight, Phil? What are you doing tonight?
We're fucking on the Mets bed.
Let's go. This is the last one that I have saved up on the tweets right now. I haven't really read it yet. Our boy Howard Rose. This is perhaps the most unique moment in the history of the New York Mets. I told you from day one that Steve Cohen was not about to be the little brother in town. He was taking dead aim at the Yankees and everyone else. It's on.
And again, I really think that Steve Cohen was like sitting on his house in a robe, like sipping a fucking martini, being like, yeah, no, like whatever. Like, I don't know. Just call Scott Boras and tell him like whatever we need to do to get this done. I don't even know if he was like stressed out. I'm sure Cashman's pulling out whatever hair he has left, and Hal is like, that Hal Steinbrenner fucking hates Steve Cohen. Because like in any other world, if Steve Cohen's not around, probably 550 gets it done. And they were like, all right, we'll go to 6. We'll go to 7. We'll go to 750. And it was just not enough. That they were just motherfucking the name of Steve Cohen all week, all month long, being like, how is this not enough? We're the Yankees. We're offering you $700 million and you're saying no? Like, what do you mean? It's because there's Thanos in town now. Sorry. And this is, by the way, I don't ever want to hear people talking shit about Cohen ever again.
No, the word, if I hear the word Wilpon and Cohen in the same sentence,
Ever.
as if you're comparing them.
Frank's whole fucking
Well,
existence.
We get a pulse check on Frank?
He's dead. Frank the Tank is dead.
Yeah.
Frank Fleming is here. We saw
Frank
him.
Fleming is back,
He's our friend. He's become a butterfly. We love Frank Fleming.
Yep.
I'm talking about anyone else who says that at this point, troll, Yankees fan, some other rival Mets fan. They are not real humans. They are the people that say Francisco Lindor is not good. Those are the same
Right.
people.
The same. Yeah. The Venn diagram is one and the same. But yes, it's the whole thing. It's like the top tier free agent of a generation took the most money because the Mets were able to do it, and B, he said, I want to go play for the Mets. That is a 25-year shift that occurred in one night from one player. That's how important of a decision that is. You cannot understate it. You know what? Does it guarantee a World Series? No. Anything can happen. They might get there and you get bad luck. They might not get there at all. Who knows? Baseball's crazy. But just the signing alone is enough to shift the vibe in New York. And let alone if he goes to the promised land. It's I cannot overstate the importance of it. It's again, if you live through these dark years, it's almost unfathomable. Imagine time traveling back to the dark Wilpon era, being like, one day, don't worry, you're going to get the best player for $750 million. You'd be like, get the fuck out of here. And
I want to shout out Grandpa Ralph. I want to shout out Tia Alex. There's a reason. There's a movement behind this because Steve gets all the credit for the wallet, but she's in his ear like, we need to get this shit done yesterday. Let's go. And the Martes, the Lindors, the people that are in his ear going, this isn't just a baseball organization. They treat you like family. They're going to bring you along with everybody else. It's the building blocks and it's the infrastructure like we talk about in everything else.
And you know what?
But
think about
this is fun for him, so it's not business in the sense
Right.
of like, you know what I mean? Like this is his like plaything.
It's fantasy baseball for him.
Yes.
It's like when Clem, when you get a big fantasy trade, you're like, oh
Yeah.
my god, like this is great, you know. And now think about this. Think about this. The importance of this past season is now like that was already the most fun and unforgettable season of our lifetimes. If the Mets continued on when they were 11 games under 500 and had that 03 or 1992 level season that we thought they were going to have, I don't think he's picking the Mets. So that means go back to the Lindor home run against the Braves, go to the NLCS Grand Slam, go to all of the moments that built up to the Mets being an NLCS team, because that no doubt is in Soto's mind, him going, well, they almost just made the World Series. They probably would have won if they made it. Like now those home runs not only become amazing for the moment, in the moment, the ramifications down the road just a couple months later, there's the most important plays in franchise history now.
What did we say, Kev? We were, what do they do with the Supreme Court where they're packing the box or whatever, the baseball gods? Like,
Yep.
we basically, like, we're like, all right, you can't do this to us anymore. And somehow, some way, the baseball gods are, all right, listen, you guys could just be a regular franchise, maybe even a fun franchise. And now we have the richest guy in the sport doing whatever the fuck he wants. And, I mean, you guys alluded to it earlier, but the crazy thing is, like, this deal, by the way, goes through, AJ will be 21 by the time this deal is over.
Wow.
41 years old. And that's kind of like the biggest takeaway for me is like, we're going to have our time. Hopefully we get a World Series. We're going to have all the fun as a good team. But this changed the lives of all our kids. We're 3 fucking dads on the podcast right now. Congrats, the newest of the bunch. Well, fucking Thunderdome, pal. And, like, it's just crazy, man. Like, AJ today was like watching the Giants just being distraught. And I was like, man, I'm so sorry, dude. And now tomorrow I could be like, his cousins are big Yankees fans, and they got like a Juan Soto autograph, and they won a bunch of stuff. But by the way, Juan Soto, he's a Met now.
Yeah, like I can't wait. My kids wake up in the morning, and I can tell them that he's a Met because like we've been talking about it for a couple of months now, being like he might be on the Mets, and like, but he's on the Yankees right now. They don't understand free agency. They don't know what it means, and it's like, no. He's gonna be on our team now. Keegan's getting greedy. He goes, "Can we get Freddie Freeman too?" I don't think that one's gonna happen. I think he's locked up.
Freddie Freeman is a god in this house, by the way. We love him.
Absolutely. I never have I ever flipped on a player more than that guy. Like learning the story about his kid and then what he did on the field and his father. It's like I fucking love the guy that I used to, wish death upon him. Now, I mean, like our kids will grow up in a world where it's like, oh yeah, no. Like the good players pick the Mets. What?
And
That
we're
is
the
a
one team
shit.
that doesn't have a stick up their ass. Where like we
Yeah.
can have the grimmest
Grow
moments,
your hair,
OMG moments, not the we're the pinstripes. We got to shave and do everything the right way. We're in the 2020s here, folks. We don't need that old school shit. We're gonna win baseball games.
Yup. Oh my god. I can't even.
And Kev, I know you're going to be on the fucking battlegrounds fighting this war. There's going to be a lot of just stuff thrown around. It's like Juan Soto. Is he a 5-2 player? Fuck no. He has a couple tools, and they're fucking like battle axes.
The best.
That's all I
Yeah.
give a shit about. I have plenty of other guys who could run the bases and throw really hard. I don't give a fuck about that. I want a guy who gets on base. I want a guy who hits. I want a guy who hits in October where we're going to be mainstays, and I'll worry about the rest when that goes there. But there's going to be a lot of coping from a lot of angry people. Kev, you're going to make a lot of people extra angry with all the trolling you're going to be doing. So just realize, like, take a break every so often. Be like, this is just them lashing out right now. Because I know you're going to be going bananas back there.
If he stayed with the Yankees, it was going to be, the Yankees do it, and he stays in pinstripes, and they're going to go win the World Series. And now the Mets are going to be, it's an overpay. Cohen's bad for baseball. They became everything they hated. All of that is just broke boys who are sad and angry and lashing out at now Big Brother, at the, we're the haves and the have-nots, and they're on the wrong side of the tracks now. We're the destination. And I would lash out too. I did for like 25 years because we were the scrubs, and now it's your turn. Now, everything is flipped because
he's the perfect player too, because they can say that, and even in their heart of hearts, they know that they're wrong.
Yes,
that's the thing. He is undeniably the guy who should have gotten that deal and did, and it's like fuck.
Yep.
There's nothing you can say about it. You can hope, but that's all you can do.
Like if there was, I'm trying to think of another player who's like, good, but like not great and overpaid. And it's like, nah, this one is undeniable. Everyone knew it. Everyone said it. He was the one. And, it's not an overpay when you're on that level. For every Jeremy Burnitz and Mo Vaughn and Roberto Alomars and, when we wanted Matt Holliday, but we got Jason Bay instead and all these plan Bs and fallback plans and all that shit. It's like, nah, this was the one. Everyone agreed it was the one. So now you can't go back on it. I don't want to hear about his defense. I don't want to hear about his base running. None of that. Everyone agrees he is the generational talent. And yeah, there's no going back now, boys.
There was a time when Jason Kelsey was, the big brother of the Kelseys and got the big steak and got to drink out of the big glass and got to sit in the recliner, when dad wasn't sitting in it. And then at some point, little brother becomes bigger than big brother. And if you got the hottest chick in the game wearing his chain or the hottest fucking free agent in baseball signing on the bottom line, like you call him little brother. He's little brother if you're going chronologically, but we know who's,
we know the deal, man.
Who's hosting Christmases.
Yes.
And, taking care of
like if aliens land on the planet right now, and they say, like, tell me about New York baseball. Who's like the top dog? I'll tell you who it is. I'll tell you who it is, man.
This season, man. This fucking season. Shout out, get the Grimace shirts now. Get it right now. Because everyone deserves a Mets Christmas right now.
2024 Mets. Like, is Juan Soto is now a part of it coming in at the 11th hour. It's the greatest year ever. I mean, it's Christmas come early. I'm literally like giddy. I'm smiling ear to ear. I cannot believe it. How about this? I call my mom right away. I go, Mom, it's, late at night. I can hear her answer the phone with like, terror in her voice. And I'm like, we got him. And she's like, what is that? Soto. And it's a weird thing. We got Soto. She's like, what are you saying? I tell her, I explained it. 765. We got Juan Soto. You know what she says to me? Wait, what happened to Severino? So not now, Ma. Not now. I don't know. He went to the A's for like $1 billion. Nobody knows why. We're not talking about Severino. I feel like Francesco. We're not talking Severino now. Oh man. Stearns, by the way. Shout out to Stearns. You can do the little ones, you can do the big ones. That's another thing. It's like I think having a young cutting edge just did it in Milwaukee, gonna do it here. President GM matters. It's like I actually love Cashman. I think he's a guy who's been underrated his whole career, but like there is something to be said for like, hey, here's this guy who's been here for like 1,000 years, who's even at his best day, he's still kind of set in his ways from the past because we all are. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. As good as he's been about evolving, it's still like if I'm going to put my career in the hands of somebody, I want it to be the richest owner, the hungriest owner, the youngest and smartest front office, infrastructure. I want the casino. I want the entertainment complex. I want it all, man. I want to be on the ride up, not the, I don't want to be just another name on the list. I want to be the guy for the team on the way up.
It's fucking crazy, man. I saw Darren tweeted out. He's like the difference between like the reported offers between the Yankees and the Mets, at some point during all the rumors was this, and it was the fucking pointing. It was like $100 million. It's like,
yep.
Steve,
yeah,
that piece of garbage that's sitting in your living room, you can like sell that or pay that amount of money,
dude.
And get.
Steve Cohen's kids have probably played ball in the house and knocked things off a shelf that are a year or two worth of Juan Soto's career. Like, we broke this vase, and it's like, this is from like the Ming Dynasty in like the first century. It's worth $75 million. Kids, get out the glue, put it back together. I mean, it was never even a sweat for Steve Cohen. He's a problem. He's a problem. Like I'm so happy he's on our side because it's like, what do you do when money means nothing? I bet you, let's say if Ohtani was like somehow a free agent right now too, if it was like 2 in the same season, I could see Steve being like, well, let's go get both. Like he is a fucking problem. There is no stopping him. He's a runaway train. He quit his old job. His old job made him $21 billion. He's like, I don't want to do that anymore. That's insane.
The Martino says the Yankees are in the league for Soto all through the process, through the weekend and late afternoon today. Steve Cohen came from the top rope very late and got it done.
I don't know if I believe that. I mean, either way.
We just say it. We say it, so then they have to hear it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like the boogeyman. It's like it's Baba Yaga or whatever. It's like
yeah. I mean, I wonder like either way, it's awesome if it was inevitable from Jump Street because they were like right out of the gates they had the biggest offer, or if it was last minute, it's great. But I can't imagine unless it was just like I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna give you the biggest contract ever. But I don't know, that feels like it's a dangerous game to play. But I'll run with that narrative. That's fine with me too.
He like hosted him at his mansion, right? I just assumed that he met him the one time and was just like, whatever the final number is, just call me.
Yeah,
let's just you go dick them around and figure out what it is, and then call me, and I'll impress you either way.
Yes, like don't worry,
waste my time. You're gonna be mine no matter what, type of thing.
I think he probably said, you don't owe me anything, but you have to make me one promise. You don't sign any contract before you talk to me. Just do whatever you want, wine and dine, talk to whoever. Your friend, you're a Red Sox fan. You want to see what goes on in Toronto. You want this, that. Fine, but give me, last chance, and I'll just make sure, it's another $5 million a year or whatever the fuck you want. And at the end of the day, maybe it's the last minute thing, but everybody, he said it basically. Everybody knew it. It was going to be top dollar, and if that's the case, it was never going to be anybody other than Steve Cohen. Literally never. Don't even get upset, Yankee fans. This was over. If it truly was all about money, this was over the minute that Aaron Judge and the Yankees blew it in that fifth inning. The minute that World Series was over, this race was over. He was never going to be denied.
If Juan Soto wanted to be a Yankee, he'd be a Yankee. That's what scared me about this taking so long. I'm like, well, the money has increased. That was the Mets' strength. Once we got to this level and the Yankees weren't dead, I said, well, that either means he wants to go back to the Yankees, or like he's just gonna at one point say, fuck it, I'm taking the Mets offer. And he took the Mets offer. And but as of like yesterday, I had started saying, shit, if it's not happening, I think Phil said the same thing. The longer this dragged on, the worse I felt. And then I don't know if you guys saw it, when fucking Mark Feinsand comes out of the clouds and says the Los Angeles Dodgers have agreed to and I'm like, ugh. And it was our boy Michael Conforto. I was like, good for Conforto.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
I can't see sentences
I mean, thank
like
God
that.
It was not the Dodgers. The Dodgers would have ruined baseball. It would legitimately ruin baseball. And you know what? If there was if he valued Aaron Judge, protection from Judge or something else that you can't get, you can't get. Lindor is good. Vientos is good. That's a good lineup you're going to be in. But if you want to bat in front of or behind a guy like Aaron Judge, you can't get that anywhere else. So then go to the Yankees. But I don't think that mattered. I don't think he
at
did
the
about
short
that.
porch. I think it actually probably helped us that he played so often at Citi Field by being on the Nats and just being he likes the atmosphere because he did say that back when he was on the Nationals. So it's he's familiar with our city. He's familiar with New York. He knows he could play on the biggest stage.
Dude, it's so great.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Not only is it the money, but knowing that whatever they said, whether it was at that dinner or at meetings, whether it was last minute or all through the month, whatever it is, when Cohen's in the room with big dogs, they respond. They like him. They want it. You know what I mean? So I don't know how he acts, what he says, but whatever he does, it's right because these guys and Boris and they're all yeah, we'll go with Steve. That's as valuable as his wallet is, man. Because you can have all the money in the world, and if you're kind of like a dick and this, lame, no one wants to play for you, sort of thing. If you're a Dolan type, But it's no, he's got it all, man. He's got the wallet and the swagger.
If Soto is as much about money as it seems he is, I'm obviously a free agency on his mind and this whole negotiation. Aren't you going to want to be I want to be partners with a dude that knows how to make fucking money with this? And at this point, you're basically family,
Yeah, I wonder how much that kind of shit goes on. I wonder how much it's I'll set you up with my guys. We're going to invest your money. I know, here's your portfolio. Follow me and, forget about baseball. I'm going to make you and your entire lineage, generational wealth by being. You
got a $75 million signing bonus and a $200 million painting to go put in a vault for a couple of years and then sell on the black market.
I wonder if that, there's got to be some under the table shit that can go on and be here, take this thing with you. It's worth $100 million.
Yeah.
Go put that in a safe deposit box. You're right. It's that doesn't count against the cap, does it? Does artwork?
I don't know I don't know what his thoughts were on this signing, but the first.
Oh wait! By the way, let me just say, I just got a text from the Rocket. He says, "Congrats." I do. There was a chance that he went to the Red Sox, and that would have obviously been the best place that it could have happened. If it was not going to be the Mets, I would have been just as happy for him to go into Boston. Not just as happy, but would have made me happy as well. I just don't think that was ever really. I don't know. People talked about this so much, and they talked like they had any sort of knowledge. Like, who fucking knows? But sorry to the Red Sox fans, because that would have been another okay landing place for me.
When I heard that, I'm like, I feel like Soto's a guy who's going to want a little bit of stability. And it's like, are those guys going to sign him to then sell the team? Like,
yeah, you
and
never
then
know.
you sell it to
so
another
up and down,
owner.
Yeah.
It's just very weird. I think they were trying to, are they really trying to make good by letting go of Mookie, who, by the way, was like the same age as Soto is now, and they traded him away.
Crazy.
And had one World Series and fucking does it all. 5 fucking to a player, could play any league position on the diamond, could bowl 300 for Pete's sake. And like, is this like, would they want to make it up in the fans' eyes, or did they actually want to sign him? And then it's like, I just don't know if they were going to do it. I mean, they don't want them to sign the Celtics, to buy the Celtics, these fucking guys. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I just don't think it was ever. I think maybe if he was a fan, that was part of the reason why. But there's such an up and down and fickle team. Like, for win a World Series, they go last place. You never know. But hey,
there's a new wrinkle too. The Mets can void Soto's opt-out after the 5 by increasing his average annual salary from $51 million to $55 over the final 10.
Bro, that means nothing.
With inflation,
literally nothing.
Yes, no, nothing.
Like that's great. A 5-year opt-out is fine. Yeah. The fact that we can void it if we want to for $4 million a year for 10 years, it's nothing to him. It does not matter. It's like $40 to you. It's like, it doesn't make a difference, guys. So that's basically, if we want it, a 15-year deal locked up for sure.
The first thing I caught from our friend Frank Fleming was his text to Jenks when it went down. The Mets got Soto. Cohen went to 800. I'm at a diner. I asked for a plain burger. They have toys coming out with cheese and ketchup. That is our guy, Frank the Tank. The most Frank Fleming fucking tweet or text I have ever seen in my life.
Incredible. I guess I don't know if I've talked to you, Clem, about this, because we kicked this around in the office. Have you heard our plan?
Jenks brought it up to me when I was in for something recently. So
I think we got to do it, right?
I mean, I was waiting for, if there was going to be someone joining us down there by the name of Juan Soto, it would make it a little easier.
Now we got to do it. So the plan is the Mets aliens are going to hop in a couple cars and do a caravan down to Port St. Lucie during spring training. And that was already kind of going to be the plan. Now it's, now we got to go do it.
Didn't know there was a car and a caravan included. I just knew we were going to spring training, maybe.
Well,
that's
a
whole
that's
other
TBD. That might be. We'll see, because the idea was almost like a roulette of like which car are you going to be in. I'm down with that idea until I draw like the short straw, and then I'm just going to hop on a plane. Fuck you guys. But either way, a few days down in Port St. Lucie to watch Soto and the Mets. Soto and the Mets.
Kyle will carry us down there to get away from, diaper duty probably by the time February rolls around.
I'm on 2 hours of sleep. It's like, I don't know what day it is. I'm like, I thought the news was going to be on Monday. I'm like, is it Monday?
And I will say this. So I was on the Met site. This was one of the moments that makes parenting all worth it. AJ goes to me like 3 weeks ago. He goes, Dad, what's it called when it's like the first game the team plays? I go, opening day. He's like, yeah, opening day. I want to go to the Mets opening day this year. I was like, holy shit, let's fucking do this. The Mets has been the one team he's kind of stuck on from day one. So I'm like looking, and I realize tickets are not for sale yet.
Yeah.
And now I know why. Because they are going.
Set those prices, yeah.
Boys, I hope we enjoyed like the lowest we're going to see tickets for the rest of our lives. The lowest we're going to see.
Barstool, the ballpark's going to be $300 a pop now.
And it's not even going to include beer. It's just going to include like.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing about like when you sign these players, like you just add $3 to hot dogs and beer and it's done. Like we covered the cost, And that's, by the way, I know people get upset about that, and I understand why. And everyone's at different periods of their life where it's tough to pay for a $10 beer and a $10 hot dog. But also, if it means you get Juan Soto, like in the past, it was like Wilpons would raise the prices, and it'd be like, the Wilpons are raising the prices. But if Steve Cohen raises the price, like I gotta get it, you know. I'm not gonna celebrate it, but when you get Juan Soto in return, I'll take it, man. I'll pay $15 a beer.
And the experience is only going to get better too.
Oh.
It was better last year when they were absolute dog shit to start the season, right?
Can you imagine? It's gonna take a while, and by we'll be old dogs by the time it's done. But when you can go out to Flushing and there's restaurants and hotels and it's not chop shops and fucking abandoned, marinas and shit. Like, it's gonna be, it's like what Brady did in Foxborough, turned it into like its own, industry. Like, it's gonna be incredible, man. So wait, I was thinking about this. Like, do you go like Lindor, Soto, Vientos? Do you put them at the top of the order? Do you put them in the middle of the order? What do you think?
So what I was thinking, Kevin, I'm glad you brought that up. I was thinking Lindor, Soto, Vientos, Pete, Nemo, if Pete's back, right? Is that what we're saying here, boys?
I think that's right off the top. Lindor, Soto is fucking nuts. I don't even care what happens after that. But like, people forget that Mark Vientos is gonna be like a 30, 40 home run guy now. I think he like emerged as a fucking real player. And then if you still have Pete, now Pete has to stay now, bro. Because think about it, like, the pressure is off. You don't have to be the guy. You don't even have to be like the second guy. You can just kind of be like our big dumb idiot who hits like a minimum of 35 home runs a year. Like, there's just no better landing spot now. That would really be just the perfect end to 2024 as if Pete comes back too.
What is that? So that's
and then you throw in Alvarez. Maybe he starts to finally like put a whole season together. Like, hey, you got another 20-something-year-old buddy who's like right next to you, like the same age. Like, him and Soto could be here for the next 15 years together.
So we put Alvarez 6, right? And I'm just thinking we're going. Lindor is a switch, but we like him more lefty. Or then we have maybe Vientos righty. Then we go Soto lefty, Alonso righty, Nimmo lefty, Alvarez righty. I always like doing that left-right thing. I've always been a big fan of that. And then I'll tell you what, this guy, I don't know what he's going to have left next year. I was rewatching all like the great moments of the playoffs. Every fucking time it was Marte coming around third going. He was involved in all that shit. Professional hitter, right? That's what we kept saying.
The pro hitter. Time. And if he gets healthy, like I feel like he still was kind of like dinged up and run down. I feel like, again, you knock him down a step in the lineup and you're not like, banking on him as much. And then then me, you, and Kyle fill out the rotation. I don't know. Yeah. Like, we'll figure that out. Stearns has got to work his magic again. That's the other thing. People talking shit about the rotation, though. It's like, we were in the same spot going into last year, and we plugged 3 holes with, fucking duct tape, and they all panned out. So until Stearns, right now, I'm expecting Montas and Holmes to be good. Until he's proven wrong, Stearns gets the benefit of the doubt from me.
Yep. And let's can we just stop with all the fucking pitching questions too? The Dodgers won with one of the pitchers being bullpen game, right? And Walker Buehler coming off his injury. Yamamoto, was obviously a big price free agent, but he was not like a lights out guy. He was hurt half the fucking year. And you didn't know what you were getting from him sometimes. The Yankees had Cole, who they lost the Cole game, right? They didn't even win the Cole game. Just like the Phillies lost the Wheeler game. It's much more about building in a million different ways. And I saw somebody made this comparison. It was in a little video. I don't know who did it. It seemed like a reporter of some sort. And he said a lot of teams are now looking at starting pitching, the way teams used to look like probably 5 years ago, 10 years ago, started looking at running backs, being like, I don't want to get the guy who's about to go off the cliff here in his 30s. You get a 25-year-old fucking awesome guy. That's one thing, but you have to kind of be smart about that. And obviously Saquon and these guys have look great now, but it's like you could get the guys, but if you don't hit on the guys, you get a Christian McCaffrey season from these guys, and you're just like shit out of luck, right? So,
the game has been shifting that way, like away from pitching. So I'm not going to worry about pitching just yet.
Yeah, gone are the days of Schilling and Randy Johnson single-handedly taking down the Yankees in a World Series. Like, they don't have those guys anymore that are just going to put the team on their back.
Yes, exactly. I'd love it if that was the case, because again, Steve Cohen will get those guys. He will pay more than anyone else to get those guys. He'll make a trade for someone to then, they're not going to sign with their team, kind of like Lindor with the Indians back in the day. So you trade for them and then you give them the massive contract. If that's the way to build a team, that's the thing. I bet Stearns is losing sleep at night right now, though. He's going to be like, fuck. He's like, Stearns probably was not ready to have a $765 million
I guarantee
contract.
you that Stearns is looking at his little like analytics and his spreadsheet, being like, "This is a bad idea, bad idea, Steve." And he's like, "Shut up, nerd! Shut up, nerd! Not a bad idea."
I mean, that's Uncle Stevie's art piece, though. It's a fucking, Picasso right there. It's absolutely fucking perfect. I thought this was funny too.
By the way, when you mentioned Darren before, like, as happy as like all of us are, imagine you're Darren, where like the team like literally decides your livelihood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the 7 line just made 3x the revenue they were gonna make this year. Now. It's crazy how important that is.
I was thinking, do we just throw the Heyman tweet on a shirt? Do we just put that on?
Not
on
a bad idea. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
I meant like Juan Soto, 2 men.
That was. I mean, I don't hate the idea of like a Soto shirt that just says 765 on the back.
Trent said he's going to be 50 when Juan Soto's deal with the Mets ends, which is fucking wild. Robbie Fox will be 41.
Bro, we'll be 55.
I'll be damn near 60. Oh my God. I hope to be alive I don't care if I'm alive. I just want to be alive when the Mets win the World Series. One time. That's all I'm asking for. I do not give a fuck other than that.
Bro, you'll be almost 60.
Portnoy. What's Portnoy now?
47.
47 and 62. He'll be 62. Is that right?
He'll be like a senior citizen. He might be 48. He might be 48. I mean, that 60 thing hit me. Because it's like
that's when your parents start. You're like, I'm starting to worry about you guys.
Yeah. Like, what if? Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna win a World Series as old men now.
Like, we won't be able to remember that. We'll be able to remember the players, but we won't be able to say the names correctly. When we get to certain age, and everyone my dad just knows guys from 2005. He says the name, and I'm like, I know who you mean, but yes.
I hope they get it done soon, and then I can. I don't want to be 40, 50 years old, being like.
I want to be blacked out at the parade and enjoy it.
Yeah. I guess it comes back around again, where you can be like the 50-year-old man on the porch, listening to the game, and it's like listening to Juan Soto. But right now, it's like, get this shit done while I'm still somewhat young.
Yeah, the third World Series, like when the Red Sox won, and what was that?
Yeah.
Like
2013.
2013 or whatever. Yeah. It's like, I want to be nodding off with that one. I want to be able to remember this one. Yes. I don't remember 86. I want to remember.
But again, you know what? The kids are going to help that, because it'll be like you're going to watch your son celebrate when he's, 10.
And he can now remember. He's 6 years old now. That's when I started. I remember 88. Yeah. I swear to God, the Mike Socha game was the first game I remember as a fucking Mets fan, which is perfect.
He could be starting his McGillicuddy arc.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Them and the Knicks, hopefully, because the Giants sure shit ain't going to do it.
Yeah,
Sean McAdam reports that the Red Sox last/best offer on Soto was around $700 for 15 years. So I'll say it was probably not $700. It was around because it doesn't look good when it's $692, right? Around $700 for 15. Never going to.
That ain't going to do it.
Never going to get it done.
Part of me wished that Cohen went to 8 just for fun, just to be like, make him happy. This is what I do. Like, I didn't have to, but I wanted to. Fuck it.
I wonder if that opt-out thing. No, that couldn't get up to. That wouldn't get it up to 800 though, because we were at
it's 805.
It's close.
It's 805 if he does it. Man,
it was another $4 million a year for the final
15 for the 10.
For 10.
So that's it.
$40 million. Yeah.
And listen, it's a Soto thing. It's a Boris thing, because. As you all remember, A-Rod's contract was for 10 years, $252 million, which is exactly double KG's 126 to have twice as much. And I thought he was going to sign for $752 to have $500 million more than the A-Rod contract. Because Kev, I remember I was at Seton Hall, I was at the dorm, and I remember seeing that number come across the street, and my brain like exploded. And I was like, is that
the bottom line?
Loud?
Back when the bottom line was the most important thing. To just get news, and it just 252. It was like, that's got to be a typo or something. Like, that's just not even fucking close. So that would be like, well, no, I was about to say, it's like the biggest contract was like 330, and we doubled it and then some, But it's like, It would be like, though, like nobody was even talking about 200 anything, and he went there. You know what I mean? It would be like everyone's talking about Soto getting 6 or 7. It would be like if Steve just went to $1 billion out of nowhere. Like, fuck it.
I wouldn't put it
Crazy.
past him. The mad lad.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked that we went there, but I'm also, when I saw Ohtani last year, I'm like, no one's going to come close to that being a two-way player.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because it's
It
like
really doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, like should if Soto could pitch, what would he be? 1.5? But it's just like if I'm Soto, it's like, okay, he's a unicorn, but that's now the rate for best players in the league. So maybe I'm not like a two-way player, but what you're going to pay me like $250 million less than him? Like, no, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. And you know what? You know who's got to just be beside himself right now? Aaron Judge. Got the biggest error in franchise history. You now have a contract that's like half this guy who doesn't really come close to your production, and you don't even get to benefit. Like, he's not on your team anymore. Just a rough couple months for Aaron Judge.
And
hate to see it.
Like, hey, if you want to bat behind the guy, bat behind the guy. But yeah, bat behind the guy in October too, and it was a tough. And the guy, it's like a tough run at this point. I kind of like Aaron Judge. He seems like a good guy, but as like a Yankees hater, Kevin, he makes your job so much easier.
I mean, it's almost better that he hits like 60 home runs a year in the regular season and then stinks. It's like the fall off is incredible.
I don't know. Those people talking about pitching. We made it to Game 6 of the NLCS.
Yeah,
with no pitching. Our like weak link was our ace who like didn't pitch 3 times all year.
Dude, if anything,
these people do not watch baseball. These people do not watch baseball. They ask about Juan Soto's feeling. You do not watch baseball. If these are the things you're asking after he signs with another team, where are you going to spend the money? But I don't want to spend on Vladdy Guerrero next year. I don't want to spend on Kyle Tucker next year. Right. This guy doesn't hit free agency. The next Juan Soto will be signed when he's like 22. Yep. He was a 1-of-1 because of the way the Nats fell apart. He was going to go to San Diego, stay with San Diego. The owner died, so they couldn't keep him in San Diego. He goes to the Yankees. He goes, I'm this close to free agency. And then the Yankees had their chance, and they couldn't seal the deal. And now he is a New York Met.
Forever. And also, by the way, Senga coming back, Peterson being there, like, that's 2 good enough front-end guys, and you figure out the fucking rest. It's not like there's nobody. It's not a good rotation, but it's like, for the way the game is trending, it would be like signing like a star quarterback and being like, well, what about your running backs? Like, we'll piece it together. Not a big deal.
Tyler McGill. it's always Tyler McGill.
I actually like the Clay Holmes thing, by the way, because I feel like if he stinks as a starter, you just throw him in the pen.
Yeah. Tyler McGill style, which I'm hoping every person we sign gets Tyler McGill 1 slot away from being in the starting rotation. I just want the fucking guy in the fucking bullpen. That's all I'm asking for right now. So, boys, we did it. I guess the next
we did it, Joe. We did it.
We did it, Joe. Are we basically at this point saying, I mean, Pete is the next thing?
Oddly enough, I somehow think this is like, either way, I think Pete was going to end up staying. I feel like if he didn't come to the Mets, the money was going to go to Pete. And now that he is on the Mets, I can't imagine Pete Alonso missing out on this now. You know, like, part of me is like, if that was me, I'm going to be wealthy beyond my wildest dreams. I'm going to stick around for the, like, I not like he was here through the lean years, because it wasn't like as dark as it's been in the past, but it's like he came up through this franchise, and now is the time to like reap the benefits and ride the wave all the way to the top. Like, stick around, bro. They'll pay you well enough.
It's going to be, the Yankees are now going to pivot to him.
That would suck,
be the same thing over again. And if we win that again,
oh, that would be even better.
Back to back.
Back to back. Oh, God.
Oh. It's going to be a long week right now, Kevin.
Yeah.
You throw the work boots on.
Yeah, for real.
The blogging fingers were fucking...
I'm gonna scroll Twitter. What time is it right now? I'm going to scroll Twitter for the next 6 hours, bro. Until the sun comes up.
I've been monitoring this. Like, obviously, I'm like looking at all the feeds as I'm going through. Whole lot of Photoshops. I see Francisco and Juan together. It's just absolutely beautiful.
I wish I could go through I just want to find everybody who tweeted me like, you think he's really going to the Mets? Like, there's no way he signs with the Mets. Who would sign with the Mets? Soto's not going to the Mets. Are you kidding me, bro? You know nothing about – you don't know ball, bro. Blah, 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 blah. All of you crying in your fucking – you're drowning in your tears tonight. Oh, my God.
The Patriots were the biggest losers in sports when I was a kid. They were like the biggest nobody fucking franchise in the world. The Chiefs were a good franchise, but they never had a fucking quarterback. You know? Guess what? Shit fucking changes. The New York Yankees, before they got Babe Ruth, were fucking nothing. They were nobodies. They were another big fucking market nothing. And the Red Sox didn't fucking lose. Things fucking changed.
Dude,
cosmic change happened.
We're going to have one of those Soto at-bats, like, where he's like, I got you, and I'm going to hit this ball over the fence. And like, Francisco Lindor was the first time I was ever, like, every time he was up, I was like, he's going to do it. Like, we've had good players on our team. Piazza probably the closest, and he did it a couple times. But for the most part, I was always, even in our best moments, expecting the worst. And Lindor was the first time I was ever like, we're going to do it. And now Soto is that times – and as good as Lindor is, you know, he still is not even close to the clutch and steadiness of Soto. So, like, we get to watch these at-bats where it's like, if he comes up in the bottom of the ninth, like, he's going to do it. If you need a big hit, he's going to do it. He's going to take you to the promised land. Like, he is the one. I've never had that. Never had that in sports, man. Right? Like, you might, you know, maybe as a Giant fan, like, maybe.
I mean, like, but like, it was like Eli down to like the both Super Bowls. It's like, just don't do like something stupid because like we love him, but he would also do boneheaded shit left and right.
Right.
You don't
and there was plenty
Lindor.
Of times he let you down. Like outside of those two, I don't think he ever won a playoff game outside of those two seasons, right? And like the best the Mets have ever been, like, you know, David Wright was great, but he didn't have like signature moments like that. And like Reyes was great, but Lord knows he was, you know, a mess at times. And Pete's, like, we've seen him at his highest and lowest. And like, but there's just, I don't think basketball, you know, Pat Ewing was great, but nobody could get over like the Jordan hump. Nobody was on his level. Like Melo's, you know, nothing. There's nobody that's just like, he's the best and he's ours. And he's not gonna not perform. He's not going to be like Robbie Alomar. We're not talking about like a Hall of Famer, but it's like he's 20. He's so young. Like, he's going to be the best, and he's ours until we're basically dead, Clem.
Statue player.
Make one now.
Do you build it where he's like in that little crap stance? He's doing his dance around.
Yeah. Yep. And you know what we got to do? Literally start building the statue now so that we don't put out one of these statues that looks nothing like him. Yeah. Figure out a way, Steve. Go get the guy who made Stickman to build the fucking Soto statue and make it actually look like him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Steve Cohen, the guy who, like, he'll, like, find a way to reincarnate fucking Da Vinci here to build a statue, you know? Like, I'm not worried about that. That's the one thing he can handle. He has the art, the inside on art people. Oh.
We got to make some merch. I haven't thought of anything. Anybody got any good ideas? Send them our way. We'll make some Soto merch. Wow. This is like, you know, you got to believe was always the mantra. And it was like, you don't gotta, you should, you know.
We highly suggest.
Yeah, highly suggest. There's been plenty of reasons why you shouldn't. And this is some shit where it's like, you should really probably from here on out be believing, because Soto Cohen is going to make sure that belief comes true. Like, it's happening. It's happening. Go back to those videos, man. When Cohen signed and bought him, it was like, we're gonna do it, and like, it's happening. He's turned the team around pretty quickly, and now he made this move that, like, you know, you press fast forward like 10 years. It's happening.
Gotta believe.
You better fucking believe.